Obviously, the biggest story this week is the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, and they have launched their new brand that we've been waiting for several months now, hoping to hear what kind of new relaunch or redevelopment they're doing. And they are starting a website called sussex.com. It's caused a lot of controversy, obviously, because they're using the royal crest, a royal crest that Harry and Meghan designed back in the day. Why is it causing so much controversy, and what do you think of their new relaunch?
Well, for a start, they're using sussex.com, and the Queen particularly forbade them not to use sussexroyal.com. And this is very similar, and there's a link from one to the other. They're using a coat of arms, which is actually Meghan's coat of arms, and even that's wrong, because apparently if you are the son of a king, you have 3 points on your coronet, but if you're the grandson, you have 5. So there is the coronet with 5 points. Tiny thing maybe, but of course people have picked up on that. I just find the whole thing incredibly hypocritical. They keep rebranding themselves, and yet there they are, they're the same. He's an environmentalist on a private plane every 5 minutes. Nobody even knows what Meghan does. If you ask people in the street, they don't know.
The interesting thing about the new website is that, as you say, they wanted to do Sussex. Well, they had Sussex Royal before they left the royal family. They had a couple of new rebrands, but this time they are using their royal crest. Are they cashing in on their royal links? Because Meghan, for instance, has criticised the royal family endlessly since Megxit. Are they using their royal links now to kind of bolster their career over in California?
Matt, they've never stopped using their royal links, ever. I mean, no one would be remotely interested in them if it wasn't for their royal links, and at least they realise that. So that's why I find it so hypocritical, because they wanted to get out of the royal family, but yet they still want to keep the bits they like. And then there's also some controversy about them using the Duke and Duchess of Sussex and saying it's a family name. Well, it's not a family name, actually. It's a title which was given to them by the Queen. Their family name is Mountbatten Windsor.
Yeah.
They don't even seem to know that. So why don't they just keep out of it and try and live on their own merits? I think they would have a lot more respect if they did that.
The website, it seems, or this relaunch, it seems that they're going to post updates about themselves. So almost like the TIG that Meghan once had, they're going to use this section, the sussex.com, to promote their work. And Archewell seems to be slowly disappearing. Does it look like Archewell has failed? There's not much mention of Netflix. They've lost their Spotify deal. And Meghan's, obviously, her podcast is now on a smaller brand called Lemonada, I think. Does it look like Archewell has failed at this endeavour?
Yes, I mean, it's really hard, even if you were really well schooled in what Meghan and Harry do, it's very hard to keep up with the different people that come and go, the different names they're using, the different websites they've got. And I think that this is, Lemonata is just sounds a really strange name. But Meghan is, you know, she's putting her brains behind that this time. That she's put her brains behind lots of other things which don't appear to have worked. The TIG is the one thing that worked for her, but that was way before she even met Harry.
They've produced this website, you know, at a really difficult time for the royal family. Obviously, the King is getting cancer treatment again this week, and the Princess of Wales, you know, has been recovering from her surgery. What do you think about the timing? About the timing of this fresh controversy that they've brought on the royal family?
Well, their timing is always really bad, but obviously they've done it now because they're going to Canada for the Invictus Games, so they really want to promote themselves. So that's why they've released it now. But they should have thought, Harry should have thought, well, it's not great because, Dad's just having this treatment, my sister-in-law has just had surgery, maybe we should, wait a month or two. But they don't think like that. I think they just think about them. Instead of rebranding themselves, why don't they actually do something that isn't for them? Let them do something for somebody else and not make so much noise about it. I think I would like to be able to respect them instead of being irritated by them. And I think probably a lot of people, I mean, of course they have a following that likes them, and they have but a much bigger following that's just intrigued by the awfulness of them.
Do you think this new royal branding has breached, the terms of Megxit?
I don't think it's actually breached the terms of Megxit. I think it's walking a very thin line between breaching the terms of Megxit, because the Queen absolutely said they weren't to use that particular royal title, sussexroyal.com, to promote themselves. And she said she's not going to take away their HRH titles, but they must be put aside. At least they haven't brought those up again. I think it's really more of a niggle than a big annoyance. I don't think there's going to be a big fuss made of this, because it just brings more and more attention to them.
Do you think, 'cause obviously the Queen was adamant they couldn't use the term royal or HRH, how do you think she would feel seeing that they've maybe used a loophole or quietly sneaked in this new rebrand?
I just think she'd be very sad, because she was very, very fond of her grandson, and I think she would be sad, and sad that it's going this way, sad that it's gone this way already, and also sad that they are so unpopular.
Mm. What about the King? Do you think he cares that this has happened?
I think the King's got so much on his mind that I think the royal family, most of them have this wonderful ability to compartmentalise things. And as there's nothing he can do about Harry at this moment, I don't think he's worrying about it. If he starts to let it niggle him, it's not going to be good. He's got to say, right, well, that's what Harry's doing. And if anyone says to him, well, you must take the titles away, he's going to say, well, that's just going to make things worse. Let's just leave it as it is for the moment. I mean, yeah, I guess he's sitting on the fence.
Mm. Going back to Harry and Meghan, so they are in Canada at the moment. They are there this week, and it's the launch for 12 months out from the Invictus Games that'll be going on in next year. This big relaunch with their new brand and their new symbol. Do you think we're ever going to get to the stage where they're going to create so much trouble for the royal family that the King or the Queen will be looking to punish them in any way, or do they need to punish them in any way to remove titles, or is there anything else that they can do to prevent Harry and Meghan causing more controversy?
I can't see King Charles wanting them to have their titles taken away. After it was its late mother who gave them the title on their marriage. There's been some dastardly royal personages in history that have had even better titles than the Sussexes. I don't think they'll be removed, and I think it would need an act of Parliament to remove them. I'm not a constitutional expert, but I can't see it, because it would bring so much attention to it. And I think the answer of dealing with the Sussexes, although none of us are going to do it, is to ignore them. And stop writing about them, stop criticising them, and just let them get on with it. And I just feel that it's not in Charles's nature. I would be so surprised if he did that.
Do you think they should remove the titles?
I don't know. I don't think if they didn't, if they did, actually, I think it would be Prince. Harry is a prince of the blood. You can't take that away from him. He is Prince Harry, and she would be Princess Harry. Now that would be much worse, wouldn't it? They would be prince and princess, which is what she's always wanted.